Hi, what is an economy? Economy is an area of production, distribution or trade and consumption of goods and services by the different agents. Economy is defined as a social domain that emphasizes practice, discourse, and mature expression. The economic agent has four. First is individual, second is businesses, third is organization, and fourth is government. Economy are also a set of culture, values, education, technological evolution, history, legal system, geography, and natural resource endowment. Next are market-based economy is where the goods and services are produced and exchanged, while the common-based economy is where the political agents directly control what is produced and how it's sold and distributed.
Malaysia has implemented a number of policies that have a strong foreign policy component that will contribute to the creation of a strong, dynamic, and resilient economy. These policies include, amongst others, Look East policy, reverse investment, Malaysia Incorporated, South-South cooperation, and Langkawi International Dialogue. For the first point is the Look East policy. In July 1981, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad became the Prime Minister of Malaysia. After 6 months in his office, he announced an initiative to learn from the experiences of Japan and Korea in the nation building of Malaysia. He considered that the secret of Japanese success and its remarkable development lies in its labor ethics, moral, and management capability. He felt a program enabling the young Malaysians to learn in Japan would contribute to the economic and social development of Malaysia. For this purpose, Malaysia decided to dispatch their students to Japan to study not only academics and technical know-how, but also to learn labor ethics and discipline of the Japanese people. The second point is reverse investment, or also known as prosper the neighbor. In case you are wondering what is meant by prosperity neighbor, I would like to explain that it simply means if you help your neighbor to prosper, you will prosper along with it. When countries are prosperous, they become more stable and their people will not emigrate to your country. Instead, their prosperity provides you with a market for your goods with opportunities to invest and to enrich yourself. Even as you create jobs and wealth for them. Poor neighbors are a source of problems for everyone, for themselves and for you. Their problems and to spill over your borders and undermine your peace and prosperity. When Japan invested in Malaysia, it creates jobs and wealth for us and enable us to industrialize rapidly. Japan, of course, gained directly from its investment, but more than that, we have become one of the Japan's best markets. Clearly, Japan has prospered by helping us to prosper. This is what it meant by prosper the neighbor. The third point is Malaysia Incorporated. According to Datuk Seri Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad, the idea of Malaysia Incorporated was based on the Japan Incorporated, which is a close collaboration between the Japanese private sector and the government bureaucracy. Basically, the Malaysian Incorporated policy is premised on the belief and conviction that the economic growth and overall development of the country can be facilitated by the close cooperation between the private and public sectors. The Malaysia Incorporated concept symbolizes the commitment of both the public and private sectors to work together towards mobilizing all their resources for the growth of all sectors of the economy. The next point is South-South cooperation. According to Dato Seri Mahathir bin Mohamad, he believed that South-South cooperation could help reinforce the emphasis on building the resilience of poor and vulnerable, in particular those in the least developed countries, landlocked developing countries, and small island developing states. They especially need help in reducing their exposure to climate related, natural, and economic shocks. That is why Malaysia set up a cooperative trust fund jointly with UNESCO in order to build capacity in education and science in those countries. With greater focus and togetherness, South-South cooperation could make a strong contribution to debates over existing international norms in the areas of economic and finance. We all want fair, inclusive, and orderly international institutions and financial systems. As these change and come to be reformed in 21st century, it is important that the voice of the South, which was not heard in the immediate aftermath of the Second World War, as many countries were not yet independent, is given appropriate weight. My last point is Langkawi International Dialogue. Langkawi International Dialogue was held with the aim of encouraging sharing intelligence or smart sharing. Do not expect the West because they have a hidden agenda. A good neighbor is a helpful neighbor. Next is to discuss world class problems faced among developing countries. Then, bridging communications between Malaysia and African countries seem to be in line with global issues and confronting major forces. Lastly, is to promote the island of Langkawi as an international tourist destination, especially from African countries. Since the CHOM conference held on the island of Langkawi in 1998 and many other world-class conferences held on the island, the goal of making the tourism sector a source of income is more successful.
Hi, I'm Iman Husna. So for my part, I will be explaining about the strong component policies towards the creation of strong, dynamic, and resilient economy. So the first point will be to do preliminary limitations. This discuss of the contribution of the financial sector as it is innovative products and the inefficiency of existing regulation. The imbalances in the global economy and the role of globalization also takes place. Also show it shows on how to combat the present crisis and also touch on how the economic system in general could react in the long term and discuss the role of the state. The second point will be upgrading industrial sector. What does make an economy more resilient to a crisis? Is a larger service sector. Although it is said as fast-growing business services are more prone to stronger fluctuation as compared to personal and public services, high value of industrial product with a fast growth rate will have a service component. By equality definitely goes some way to ensuring against long fluctuation. The third point is strengthening the automatic stabilizer. We should think about financing social security to a higher degree from tax revenues. New budgetary framework used in many European countries set spending limits which strictly applied. It provides a buffer against states spending too much money during a boom through expenditure ceilings. The fourth one is investing into the future. Innovation and education strategies are very recommended. They make sense both from a growth and employment point of view and as well as from efficiency aspect. Research and education create positive external effects. Thus, economic policy should subsidize this expenditure. More innovative firms with a highly qualified workforce are better placed to produce specialized products and more bespoke solutions for customers. The last one is direct the public sector towards growth. Economic growth can furthermore be increased by directing tax revenues and government spending towards growth and employment. A tax system which is growth oriented reduces the tax burden on labor. An expenditure strategy which is growth enhancing fosters education and training, innovation and intangible infrastructure.
First, reset policies. Markets operate within a legal framework that sends signals and draws business practice. The problem with this is twofold. First, many policy frameworks are designed for a time where resource scarcity wasn't a concern and enterprise was encouraged at all costs. Second is the political will to address policy change is stuck in a pattern that looks like a race to the bottom. Second is re-energize collaboration. Our most complex challenges will not be solved by individuals actors but through the coordination of key members within the system. This means that companies, including competitors, must join forces with advocacy organizations, governments, and communities to bring about change. Third is refresh mindsets. Many of us have been taught that economy is an immutable law unto itself and that we have little power to change it. However, the economy is human made and anything human made that is human can be remade. We urgently need to see the economy for what it is. A delivery system enables us to satisfy our basic needs and meet our wants and desire. It is possible for us to create an economy that does this within ecosystems limit, precisely because we can imagine in it so. Lastly, the effective team management. Effective teams do not play the same players every day in every situation. The game changes and dictates different personnel for varying circumstances. Be a manager of the challenge and put the right players at the table to have more success in economic development.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Danial Zuhri. We'll be concluding about our topic for today. So, we all said and done, the Malaysian government has come up with several principal emphases in the pursuit of Malaysia's foreign policy objectives. There are 7 of them overall. The first one is maintain peaceful relations with all countries regardless of political ideology and system. Next, the second one, continue to adopt an independent, non-aligned and principled stance in regional and international diplomatic affairs. The third one, develop relations and economic partnership as well as close cooperation with all countries, especially with Asian and regional partners. The fourth one, promote peace and stability through capacity building measures and conflict resolution. The fifth one, participate actively in the United Nations. The sixth one, play a leadership role in international organizations such as ASEAN, the Non-Aligned Movement, and the OIC. And last but not least, the seventh one, highlight Malaysia as a modern, dynamic, and progressive Muslim state. That is all from our group. We hope that to whoever who watched this video could have an understanding about strong component policies towards the creation of strong, dynamic, and resilient economy. So, with that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.